Welcome back to Wine and Wine Real Estate Uncorked. I'm Nicolette Virgilio with my father Quincy, and we are here to share a quick market update and also to give some seasonal selling advice if you're thinking about listing this fall. There's also some real estate myths that we're going to bust wide open today and cover those topics. So here we go.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about the market first.
Well, what would you like to talk about? The market is the market, right? It doesn't change other than what's going on, other than there's inventory has risen, but it's stayed fairly firm for the last 3 months. Also, the activity now for sales is the highest it's been in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to talk a little bit about this. Properly priced homes are selling.
Right. And when I pulled the numbers the other day, there's definitely a tale of different markets within Santa Clara County. It looks very different in many different pockets.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into that a little bit.
Well, you mentioned that talking to us earlier today about that, the different levels of market and what's going on in each of those levels. So start with the high end.
Yeah. Well, let's start with Cambrian.
Okay.
Cambrian seems to be flying off the shelf.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Schools, affordability even. Cambrian's a great value. Even at the prices that people are paying today, Cambrian's a great value.
Right.
So.
And they're getting into contract within 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Properly priced homes are.
Properly priced. Yeah. So even within the county, if it's properly priced, properties are often getting into contract within 10 days.
Right. And most of them are going over ask too.
Yeah. So
you're seeing a lot of over ask, and there are some strategies out there that I'd like to address that may not be the best topic for everybody, but I'm a little concerned about some of the strategies that are being used for some of these houses.
Well, let's talk about it because I was really irritated last week.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're talking about is that other business practices from other realtors are looking at the market and saying, if I lower the price tremendously,
right,
I'm going to get a whole lot of activity, and then the home is going to sell for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 over what we asked for it.
Right.
And I think that just creates tremendous confusion in the marketplace, not just for buyers who are excited to see a home for, let's just pretend, $890,000. That's really a $1.5 million house.
Correct.
And then, they get all their hopes up, their excitement levels up, and then you go there and you have to tell them as their representative, hey, this is not a realistic number.
Right.
It's going to sell for much more. So now they're thinking, I can finally buy a house. And no, now you probably can't because it's going to sell for twice what they're asking. I don't understand the strategy. I think there's a professional obligation and responsibility here to properly price the home at the market.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'd go a little bit below the market to attract some people, but not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And I think that this has been happening for some time.
Yeah.
But when pricing in areas tend to have a softening, if you will, people are trying to use strategy, what they think is strategy, but that is complete confusion.
Yeah, it's not just confusing for the buyer. I'm not quite sure why, as a real estate professional, I would want to have to deal with 30 offers on a property that 29 of them are not the people who are going to buy that house.
Right.
I don't understand that strategy. And I think we also have a responsibility to the public. We have an ethical responsibility to properly represent the value of the home. It's a code of ethics. We abide by it as a realtor.
Right.
So I don't quite understand the strategy, and I don't understand the reasoning behind it. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school. I don't know what it is. But I just think that it's a misrepresentation of what's going on.
Well, it's a confusing thing for everyone. Yeah. I think that buyers don't know what things are going to be properly priced at. The neighborhood's confused at what something's going to potentially sell at. Yeah. Realtors are confused because you can no longer, thankfully, good realtors have a pulse on the market as far as the average price per square foot. So recently I had a client that sent me a property thinking that they could potentially have an offer that would make sense in their budget. And I knew immediately that was not the case in this particular neighborhood, because if you just looked at it, even at just a quick snapshot, the price per square foot in that neighborhood, it put that $1 million differential, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's about being responsible. Even from the selling side, for when you're talking to your sellers saying, I'm going to make this outrageously low price and try to get a whole lot of activity. Well, sure. I mean, but why not just do your job?
Right.
Why not just look at the market and continually update the market to not just the buyers, but to the sellers, like our own listings.
Yep.
If the market shifts a little bit, it's time to adjust the price.
Yeah.
and it's based on hard data.
Yeah.
Not just let's go willy-nilly and see what happens.
Right.
It's just well,
that's why they hire us, because that's our job. Is
Good point.
But I just wanted to cover really quickly. I know the market's supposed to be fast, but the hot spots of Santa Clara County are Cambrian, Cupertino, Central San Jose.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, what's going on in Central San Jose?
I don't know. Maybe we needed... Yeah,
it's price point.
True.
It's affordability.
Yeah.
Which we're about to get into here shortly about affordability too. So...
All right. Well, let's jump into that.
Yeah. Well, what was interesting though is you were mentioning in the luxury market too, that when we were just setting up for this podcast, about how the prices were really dramatically different in the luxury end.
Right.
One example was a $7.9 million house that sold for like $3 million less than that.
Right.
And that could be seller unrealistic expectations, and the realtor said, okay, I'm going to take that listing at $7.9 million and then work you down.
Right.
Or it could just be that the market is that soft. I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
Yeah.
But again, it's about being responsible. It's about representing the market for what it is and not trying to artificially either inflate or deflate the prices. So I'm done. My rant's over.
All right.
So Central San Jose, the prices are a little bit lower on a price per square foot basis, attracting many, many more buyers for those. And let's talk about why it could be more affordable now going forward.
Why could it be more affordable?
Well, as you were, again, preparing for this podcast, we talked a lot about what the Fed is doing with interest rates.
Right.
Now, of course, everyone thinks, and I think you even did a post about this.
I did do a post.
Everyone thinks the Fed lowers the rate, interest rates fall today. Well, no, that doesn't work that way.
It's because it's already built in.
It's built in weeks in advance. In fact, you saw a little drop in the market this week, or going back a few days, because of the anticipation of what's going to happen next month at the next Fed meeting.
Right.
So when next month comes up and they drop the rate another quarter or a half, interest rates aren't going to fall that day. They'll fall going into it. But the thing is that we're getting into the low sixes, high fives.
Right.
And that's a very realistic number.
And I saw fives the last couple. Yeah, I've been seeing fives.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Which is great.
It's available. It will be available. But the point of that I'm trying to make on this interest rate thing is that what it does is it creates easier affordability for folks. A quarter to a half point drop in interest rates could be $300 to $600 a month less on your mortgage payment, meaning you could qualify either for more or have a lower mortgage payment, which is awesome to be able to do. It all comes back to being affordable. Oftentimes we talk about what's that mean? That means if you could afford the mortgage payment, then go forward.
Right.
Regardless of the interest rate.
Right.
Interest rates go up and down. And I feel like I'm ranting here today. So
you're not.
Interest rates are relative. What people are spoiled with these 3% rates from years ago. The average rate for a 30-year mortgage over the last 50 years has been 7%.
Right.
So when it's like, oh my God, it's 6.5%. Yeah, that's normal.
So right now, when we're seeing fives, we're in a great spot.
Let's go.
Right.
What's that going to do to the market?
It's going to bring more people into the market.
More buyers into
Absolutely.
the market. So the interest rate, okay, now my rates drop $300, $400 to be able to buy. But what happens now? The price gets driven up because people are I want to buy that house.
Right.
And a properly priced home is going to go even higher now because, hey, I can afford more. So...
Well, we'll see what happens. I read something interesting yesterday that I thought I'd bring to this, but Realtor.com put out a really cool article in regards to the best time statistically that they've tracked over, I don't know how many years, but lots of data went into this. And they said in the United States, it's October 12th through 18th.
Interesting.
And that's when inventory tends to peak. And the buyers have the most flexibility in pricing.
Wow.
So they actually broke it down by city as well. And for San Jose specifically, historically, the best time for a buyer to buy is October 19th through 25th.
All right. That's a short window.
I know.
Who's ready?
I know. I just thought it was interesting. They actually had all the data and for over years and years and years. And list to sales price, obviously showed that.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So make sure you're pre-approved.
Yes.
You're ready to roll.
Yes.
Not pre-approved, fully underwritten, ready to go, and put yourself in the best position for that week.
But what would be interesting is because of the timing with interest rates fluctuating a bit, that could really throw those numbers off. So it could be this week is the best one, before we get another interest rate.
You know the best week to buy? When you're ready to buy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Always.
When that house comes along, the right house comes along.
Always.
But that brings up the holidays, right?
Yep. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So anyone that's thinking about listing within the holidays, or if it's something you're like, oh, I should wait. What's the seasonal selling? Well, we've said this a million times. First of all, California, you can sell any time of the year. We are not like other states where you're buried in snow and can't open your lockbox because it's frozen. So we have fantastic weather. Part of what we pay for here.
Right. That's right. You're not shoveling snow this winter to show a house or have an open house.
But fall brings definitely advantages as well with more serious buyers.
Absolutely.
So the people that are coming into your home, you have less traffic, which is nice. If you're living there.
Yeah. And I've always said, no matter what's going on throughout the year, no matter what's going on, someone wants to buy, someone wants to sell.
Yep.
Someone needs to buy, someone needs to sell. And if the person wants to put their home on the market or desires to put their home on the market during this holiday season, they're motivated to sell.
Right.
And next thing, who's coming to look at that house? Someone who wants to buy a house. If you don't have to buy a house during Christmas, you're not going to. But
right.
If you want to and need to, you're going to be out there looking. So fewer people to compete with, preferably, because people are like, oh, I don't want to buy a house during the winter.
Right.
I don't want to buy a house during the summer. I don't want to buy a house during Christmas. I don't want to buy a house on July.
So you have serious buyers, serious offers,
serious sellers, and you're going to get a deal.
Right.
It's out there.
Right.
So, should you list your home in the wintertime, in our winter or for our holiday season?
Absolutely. If it's your time.
If you need to sell, sell.
Absolutely.
And going back to what we said from the beginning, properly priced homes will sell no matter what time of the year it is.
Right. So. Absolutely.
Which brings me to another point. Okay, my last point on getting homes ready. We talk a lot about preparation. We talk a lot about preparing your home for sale. And oftentimes, and this is something that I've been trying to communicate for years to people who are thinking about selling, a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to sell my house, so I'm going to start painting my house. I'm going to start, I'm going to fix the yard up. I better remodel that bathroom. Stop. Yeah, put the brakes on.
Yeah.
Consult with us first.
Yeah.
Let's go through what we do to prepare a home so that you don't have to. And also what it's actually going to be monetarily feasible for the price you're going to put into that house, the money you're putting into what you're going to get out.
Yeah.
So stop.
Yeah. We only want to put money that we're going to get a return on.
Yeah. And what needs to be done. Right.
Yes.
What needs to be done. And you don't have to do it.
Right.
That's the thing. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be all stressed about it. We take the stress out of selling a home.
We even bring boxes.
Everything you need. We'll bring people to put stuff in boxes.
Right? Exactly. So I thought one fun thing that we could go through was some of the local market myths.
Sure.
Just add a little interesting thing to the podcast. So we kind of walked through the first one, which was nobody buys during the holidays. People buy during the holidays all the time.
Yeah, it's completely false. We sell homes in December year in, year out. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's a myth. It is a myth. And the inventory, the sales numbers for December were probably lower than November, October, or whatever. But people still sell. People still buy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we are still working through all of December.
Yeah,
so.
you are. I don't think I am.
Well, I just posted my calendar for everyone to see, and I'm working. So
I saw that. Very
I am taking a week off during Christmas, but...
All right, so myth number 2. Let's wait till spring.
So busted. I mean, spring's obviously it's one of the busier times of the year statistically.
And nationally, that's the selling season.
Right.
But again, because we're here in California, we really don't have that selling season.
Right.
But what happens if everyone's waiting till spring, what happens?
You have more people you're in competition with.
More competition.
Yeah.
More buyers, fighting for the homes that are on the market. And keep in mind, even though our inventory is higher than it's been in a long time, there's still only under 2,000 homes for sale in the entire county. We have 2.5 million people here.
Right.
So keep in mind, it's not a lot of houses.
So the next one is, I love this one because people think sometimes that this is like the end all be all of information. So Zillow knows my value. So I'm going to throw Redfin in there too, because we always come prepared with both of those numbers.
Sure.
So Zillow and Redfin will give you a number. And if you've ever looked at them, they're both always different. Mm-hmm. So why is that?
Yeah. Well, I would think there's 2 reasons. And keep in mind, both of them get data from the multiple listing services, the MLSs. Zillow is a registered broker with every MLS in the country and multiple listing service in the country.
Right.
And Redfin is a brokerage again. So I'm not sure how their algorithms work.
Yeah.
But there's usually a difference between the two. Very rarely are they on the same page.
Right.
Where they are on the same page sometimes is the range, because they always give you a number and then they give you a range.
Right.
And sometimes the range is close, but the number is so different.
Right.
And everyone seems to rely on it. When you tell me a seller hasn't said, "Why I have to see my house on Zillow?" Okay, it'll be there.
Right.
You get a feed from our multiple listing service, but is it the accurate number?
No.
The day you put a home on the market on a multiple listing service, that Zillow number will change to what you've listed.
It's the new number.
It's the new number.
Right.
But going in, and we've seen it many, many times, the number is off by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And take our example.
We just closed on Lansford, and Lansford has had a huge differential.
Yeah, $400,000 difference.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, and why is that? Well, because of whatever algorithms they use,
right.
And not even being, they're in Seattle and they're not on the street looking at the house. They're not drilling down to the local neighborhood, looking at price per square foot on similar homes that have sold in the last 40 days.
Right.
They're not doing that kind of data to make that number. They're saying, oh, it's about this.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, people believe it.
Right.
And then when they come in, so let's just go back to that Lansford example. We properly priced that home, several $100,000 over what Zillow said, and people come in, but Zillow says this.
Right.
Well, okay, but here's the reason why.
Right.
And we have the data. And even when we're working with buyers that come to our listings and they want to offer us less, I'm happy to look at it, but please send me what are you looking at?
Right.
Send me the data.
You have to show me your proof.
Send me the data,
Yeah.
so I can go to the seller again. This is what they're looking at.
Right.
This is what we're looking at. What do you think? I mean, it's not. It just confuses that people when you just throw a number out willy-nilly like that.
Well, I think, and that's in some ways when, this is kind of like far-fetched and off topic, but the whole AI stuff. Mm-hmm. So AI obviously is a huge tool for analyzing data, but there is still the human element needed in those type of situations and really being able to go into the house and see the opportunities like we did with Lansford and seeing the true value outside of just, especially with that house, there wasn't there's no apple to apple comparison.
There wasn't.
Yeah. So you have to be able to peel back everything and dive deeper in what the numbers actually are.
Not just price per square foot,
right,
but features and benefits of the home.
Right.
And from the moment we walked in that house, we knew it was more than the market was thinking.
Right. And there's so many different types of properties.
Absolutely.
And I mean, we're interviewing soon for this beautiful mid-century modern, that you have to know about real estate. It's not just statistically.
Right. It's not just one house compared to the other.
Correct.
It's, again, the features and benefits of that home as compared to the market.
Right.
So it's not rocket science, but it's really, really, really important to get those features and benefits added into the value package.
So the takeaway is that's why we're here.
Yeah. Call us.
Work with a professional that knows what they're doing.
So we just talked about this too, and I'll throw this one at you.
Yeah.
Okay. Interest rates are going to fall. I'll wait. What do you think?
I mean, I've talked to my buyers or our buyers and our sellers about this on repeat for years, right? Yeah. Ever since rates shifted from even when they were lower.
Yep, absolutely.
Obviously always the right time is when you can afford to buy is now, right? And then you can, I hate the term date the rate, do that, whatever. And but that is an option should rates ever go down, that you could take advantage of that particular program. I know a lot of lenders kind of when rates elevated built that in so they could do a free refi or lowered their fees in some ways because of the fact that rates were elevated a bit.
Right. Well, they had all the guarantees.
Yeah.
If in the next 12 months rates fall, we'll do it for free.
Right. So my clients right now, they get the concept of now is the time.
Yeah.
Because if we have even a tiny bit of a rate drop, it gets so many people off of the fence that are waiting. And so not only are you paying more for the property, you're paying more for property taxes.
Right.
The value, the homeowners policy goes up because the value of the home.
Right.
You're paying more on everything. Yeah. So the difference of the $600 or whatever it may be with the mortgage payment, based on whatever their loan amount is, but a slight shift of rate, it helps, but you're compounding all the other things.
Yeah, and so it goes back to what we would say.
Right.
If you could afford the mortgage payment, all the costs associated with owning a property,
right,
that's your decision. I can afford that.
Right.
Now, should rates drop, we have the opportunity to try to see about lowering your mortgage payment if you have to. But keep in mind, rates drop, more people come into the marketplace.
Right.
You're saying so that rate drop may not be effective because the price is high.
Right.
And it's not just mortgage payment. Like you said, there's other costs associated with that.
And when more people come into the marketplace, your ability to negotiate gets smaller.
That's right.
So when there's less people, you can ask for more things, or you could, potentially look at the pricing a little bit differently.
Sure.
You could maybe even look at the seller contributing to pay, a little bit towards getting that rate down or something like that, depending on the circumstances of the property. There's more working for you as a buyer in those situations than if you waited until the rates went down.
Yeah. And then the urgency to compete, everything has to be done so quick and so fast because I've got to get it in. I've got to be, fully, I've got to be non-conditional, no contingencies. And it's interesting. I'm going on another little rant. Sorry here again that, I talk to people who've been on the market for 120 days and they're going to make an offer on that property. It's got to be non-contingent. Well, okay. It's been on the market 120 days. You probably could slow down a little bit to see what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to stop. I'm ranting a lot today.
All right. Well, welcome back. This trip to Italy, you were so relaxed. Now you're like back into Santa Clara County crazy.
I'm going to Hawaii next.
I know.
So watch out.
I know. Well, I think that we've kind of covered a lot about the existing market. We went through some myths. Santa Clara County is a very unique place. So myths could exist in other areas seasonally, but definitely here it's always a good time to buy and sell. And again, it's when you're ready.
That's right. And when you're ready, call us first. Don't start doing anything to your house yet.
You don't need to do all the stuff.
Hold on. We're here for you.
We do it for you.
Our favorite thing is to make it a less stressful situation for you.
So thanks for tuning in to Wine and Wine Real Estate Uncorked. We're always here to answer any questions that you have. If you feel that someone is thinking about selling, wants some seasonal information or non-seasonal information, is already starting to fix things and you want to get them to shut it down, talk to our friends.
That's right.
Please share this information with them. We would love your support. And thank you so much for everything. And join us next month for another Wine and Wine Real Estate Uncorked. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.